welcome to our December spotlight. We're so excited to really hone in so you get to really know this amazing founder and her business. However, before we dive in, my name is Taishita. I am the founder of Luxury Travels by Dreamy Designer Events, where we curate elevated experiences worldwide, retreats so you can rediscover, reconnect, and come back a better version of yourself. And on to you, Star.
Hey there, I'm Star Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, your go-to where statement decor meets lifestyle design. We feature elevated and artisan-inspired pieces. Just kidding. Give me a second. Okay. Hi, I'm Star Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, your go-to where statement decor meets lifestyle design. We feature elevated, artisan-inspired pieces that make your home feel powerful, personal, and anything but ordinary. Today, we're excited to introduce Jaclyn Cox, founder of Jaclyn Hope Design, a studio dedicated to helping women-led brands show up with strength, style, and purpose. Based near Seattle, Jaclyn leads a powerhouse team of women serving female entrepreneurs across the country. Whether it's branding from the ground up or refining a digital entire presence, her focus is on turning vision into visibility. So, Jaclyn, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and to share with this great community. Right now, I am running my brand and web design studio. We are growing very fast. We are taking on some really exciting clients, and I just wanted to share a bit more about my story of how I ended up here, how I, built this business, what kind of inspires me, and how I can use maybe my story to inspire other women out there. So my story starts back about 5 years ago, where I was actually not a designer at all. I was a teacher. So I had started my career as an elementary school teacher, fell into it very early. I went to college early. So right at 18, 19 years old, I already had my whole game plan figured out of I was going to be a teacher, get my degree in education, be in the classroom, and then just be set there for the rest of my career, for the rest of my life, because that's kind of part of the culture. Like once you're a teacher, you're kind of always a teacher, and it's very common to be in that career for 30 plus years. And honestly, I loved it. I was so happy in the classroom with the kids. I had a really strong passion for it, and I was pretty damn good at it, actually. It was on a bunch of different like leadership teams, like curriculum development teams with the school district, technology teams. I've always been very techy. And so I was there for 7 years in the same school district, had some highs and some lows, but overall it was a really great time. And in 2020, I have a similar story to I think a lot of people. COVID hits and I got burnt out really fast. I think I was already kind of heading to burnout when I look back on it with that 2020 hindsight of like, oh, I think I was starting to get burned out. But 2020 hit. I was trying to teach remotely. And then after a while, we went back to school and we were doing this hybrid model, which was common across a lot of districts in the country, where I was teaching kids on Zoom and teaching kids in the classroom at the same time. I had moved up to the middle school level and was teaching middle school for the first time. I did get to teach coding, which of course was fun. And I feel like that's kind of what saved me is being able to teach a more relaxed, like more, I don't know, more fun and creative class with the kids. But I gave everything and I just couldn't give any more. I had my first baby, April 2020. So the story I tell with him is, he was born the day the hospital staff started to wear masks. So we were like all just trying to figure this out. I brought my baby home to an empty house with no visitors. No one got to see my baby. No one got to, experience this first chapter of, of this motherhood journey with me. And we were very isolated. And then on top of that, trying to give whatever left of me there was to my job, it just wasn't cutting it anymore. So I started to kind of have these like first initial thoughts of like, I need to do something different. I don't think I can sustain this the full 30-year career I was expecting to sustain. And so I started to kind of just poke my brain around of like, are there other options? I don't even know. Well, while this was happening, I had a coworker and a friend who had a side business, and she said, "Hey, I need a logo and I need a website. And hey, Jackie, I know that you are kind of creative and techie. Do you think you could figure this out for me? I was like, okay. So I kind of just figured it out. And because I was a teacher, Canva was my best friend already. So I was like, I could do something on Canva. I could whip something up. And then on my website, I don't know. I'm sure I could figure it out. And I did. And I did an okay job. And she was happy. And then, like a month later, she referred me to one of her friends who also had a business. Same thing. I was like, I could figure it out. I think I charged her maybe like $50 for the logo, maybe like $100 for the website. I was not charging like anything, but I figured it out. And then that kind of put this like seed of a thought in my brain of like, hey, this is kind of something I enjoy doing, something that I could be good at. I wonder if I should pursue this a little bit more. So my last year, while I was still teaching, I started to pick up some like odd jobs here and there. I joined Fiverr. That's kind of scary. Trying to just email people of like, yeah, I'll do help you with your website if you want, and figuring things out along the way. And I think what really helped me during this phase is I was very open-minded and willing to take risks. So when somebody said, "Hey, can you do XYZ?" In my brain, I'm thinking, hell no, I can't, I don't know how to do that. But what I told the client was, yeah, I can do that. And then behind the scenes, watching like dozens of YouTube videos trying to figure out how to do it. So, but that really gave me a lot of confidence because it kept happening where I was like taking on a job. I didn't really know how to do it. I figured out how to do it. The client was happy. They weren't mad at me. And so I would kind of just rinse and repeat and do that again. And after about a year of this, of just kind of like teaching myself things on the side and experimenting with projects, I really started to think about like maybe leaving teaching. During this time, too, we kind of accidentally found our dream house for sale that was an hour away. So I couldn't reasonably like even think about getting that house while maintaining my teaching job. I couldn't do that commute. So that was really like the big step into the open doorway of like, oh crap, like if this is serious, like this is the moment. Like if I'm going to pursue this, like this is the time I have to do it. And I have to walk away from my district and my job that I've had for 7 years, right? So that was terrifying, absolutely horrifically scary. During this time too, I didn't have a ton of support from like friends and family. So that was definitely like a low point of like I'm willing to step away from teaching. I'm willing to start this business. I'm willing to take risks and maybe try this new thing and move to a new town. But at the same time, a lot of my friends and family were like, "What are you doing?" Like, no, like a lot of my friends were teachers, and so you kind of get into this like cultural teacher bubble of like you don't leave teaching. Like that's not a thing. You're a teacher. It's such an ingrained part of your identity that it's really hard to imagine myself as not a teacher, right? So my circle just didn't understand it. I think honestly, they probably just didn't really believe in me very much that I could do it, that I could start a business and change gears, in my 30s. So that was a huge step. But my husband is my biggest cheerleader ever. So we've been together since I was 16, and we've really have grown up together and grown together, and he's been my biggest support and believer in me. And he said, if this is what you want to do, then you just got to go do it. And you're going to make it work and it's going to be fine. So we did it. We moved. I quit teaching. I started this business and I was like, okay, now I've got to hustle. And so I started hustling, started looking for jobs. I'm on every forum, every Facebook group, every like small business page, trying to get my name out there, trying to stick my website on things and trying to stir up this interest and this visibility of like, hey, this is what I do, this is who I help, and trying to get out there. And people started to pay attention, which was really exciting. And my first like 6 months or so of doing this full time, I was like almost paying my bills. So I was like, honestly, that was kind of a success for me of like, all right, I could see like the income coming in, I could see the potential. And then I also used that time while things were slower to just keep learning. So I'm taking free courses online, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm experimenting of like, oh, I'll just do this like mock website with this builder I've never used before, and I'm just gonna work on it and figure it out and, keep growing and keep pushing myself in that way. And then I got pregnant with my second baby and it all kind of went to shit. So I had the roughest pregnancy with my daughter, my second baby. I don't know if it's like being older, like what the circumstances were. People, maybe people are kind of sexist, but they're like, girls are harder. If you have a hard pregnancy, it's a girl. I was like, I don't know if that's true, but it was brutal. I was having like extreme morning sickness and nausea up until like 30 weeks, like almost the whole pregnancy. Really bad like physical pains, joint pains, hip pains, like all of that, the nerve pain, really bad fatigue. So I'm like on the couch for most of the day, for most of my pregnancy, and my business just like stopped, right? Because I'm no longer able to hustle and grind and bring in work and go to events and do networking and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, I think I messed up. So I really lost a lot of kind of hope in that time of being able to do this and run this business. So I even started like applying for just like general like jobs, full-time jobs, designer jobs. But obviously like everyone knows how just the job market is in general. You just don't hear back at all. And a lot of the bigger agency jobs want to see somebody with like corporate agency experience. And here I am, this like random girl who taught herself how to code, right? So yeah, I just think I got looked over. No one was calling me back. So I have my baby. I go on a little bit of a maternity leave and I'm like, okay, I'm going to grind really hard for like 6, 7 months. This whole business has gone like to a standstill. I need to get it back up to speed as fast as possible. And I didn't have a ton of work coming in. So I had a lot more time to find work. And so I joined every group, every networking group, every women's group, the Chamber of Commerce, like every possible opportunity that I could find to get my name out there, I did it. I was going to probably like 3 or 4 networking events a week. So I'm like having my business cards and I'm just like passing them out. And this was hard for me because I am an introvert. I am very like neurodivergent. I like trying to be in these like professional social settings that I also didn't like do as a young person, right? Because as a teacher, like it's a totally different environment than business. So I'm like, I don't even know what the protocol here is. Like, am I supposed to shake people's hands? Am I supposed to like not talk about myself or do I talk about myself? And it's like this weird dynamic that you have to try to navigate as a new business owner. And I'm sure like a lot of other women and starting businesses feel that way too, of like, I don't know this whole world. But I just told myself I had to do it. If I wanted to make this business work, if I needed to make the money coming in for my family, I needed to do this. And after about 7, 8, 9 months of this grind, I finally saw the shift happen. And I finally saw this, like all this hard work I've been putting in start to pay off, where people were now calling me like out of the blue of like, oh, my friend met you at a networking event 6 months ago, and I need a website or I need a logo, I need some help. My inbox was filling up. And then all of a sudden, my days where I was like working like 3 hours a day, I'm now working like 10 hours a day just to try to keep up on it. It kept growing, it kept growing. And then about a year ago, I brought on some regular support. So I now have a small team that works with me and it's kind of doing more of the day-to-day tasks. And then I do a lot of the management, the projects, goals, the quality assurance, keeping everything up to like a really high standard for my clients and doing kind of more of the client facing role with them. And I'm probably looking to hire more people. I think in the next couple of years, we're going to be at like a larger agency model. And that's really exciting and it's intimidating. And the imposter syndrome definitely kicks in of thinking like, oh, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I didn't even know anything about design or about technology, or about coding or websites. And here I am, and I'm the expert. And like sometimes you get a lot of that doubt coming in of like, oh, I don't know. But then I just have to remind myself that like I'm making it happen. Like I'm making it work. I've never had an unhappy client in 5 years. Like I've never had a single client say like, no, I hate what you did or everything sucks or whatever. Like every single person I've worked with has been happy and satisfied with the services I'm providing. So I just tell myself, like, I must be doing something right then, right? I'm seeing the businesses and the business owners that I help thrive and grow. And I can easily see the correlation of like, this is what I did for them. And then this is where they are now because of it. And there's that direct correlation. And so that's very validating and exciting. So that's kind of where I'm at with the business right now. And, it's grown so much and it's grown really fast, but I think we're doing things the right way. I think we're doing things really authentically with transparency. I get a lot of clients coming in that say, "Hey, I hired this company and I don't even know what they did. They charged me all this money. I don't even know the login for my website. I don't even know how many people are visiting my website. I know nothing." And then I come in and I want to be that like breath of fresh air for them of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the current state of things. This is what we're going to target. And then these are what, the things that you're going to see because we're targeting those things. This is what you can anticipate or expect down the road. And so being able to be super transparent and honest with them of exactly like what they're paying me to do and what I'm doing for them so they can easily see it. And then having like amazing communication the whole time because there should be no mystery. I think with technology and just tech fields, there's a lot of mystery if you are not a very tech savvy person of like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know like what questions to ask. And so a lot of what I do, it comes with like education of I want to teach you how are your systems set up? What are they doing for you? What should you watch out for? What can you build on to give them the empowerment too of like just because you're not a super tech savvy person doesn't mean you can't be empowered to make strong decisions based around your technology and your online presence. So I love doing that, especially for other women. Most of my clients are women, and I think some magic juju sauce happens when women support other women in a really powerful way. I think we're making impacts on the economy. I think we're making impacts on our communities, and we're raising families on the side while doing it. So we're cool that way. Yeah, I think, businesses can make such big impacts on the greater scope. And I think as women, we need to believe in that and have confidence in that we are making impacts, we are doing the right thing. We're doing the best we can and we deserve to be here and we deserve to be in this space just alongside all of the men out there too. And, own that and claim that because I think really great things will happen. So yeah, I think that's just kind of a wrap up of my story and kind of where I'm at and kind of what I believe in the pillars of my business. I want to help people and I want to just inspire them to make the best decisions for their life and to pursue their own happiness and to believe in themselves because like with your hard work and with that belief, like you can conquer a lot.
Yes. Oh, and wow. Like honestly, like I honestly love your story. It's just it's one of those things it honestly is a lot of the things that a lot of people don't know. And a lot of times they'll see where things are now, but they don't really realize how much it took to get there and how much sacrifice that it takes in terms of just making the leap to trust that this is what you want to do for you, for your family, and then even going through the struggles throughout that, it makes a huge difference. And to be able to come out on the other side and be able to tell your story and also be able to understand that like life is going to happen all the time. It's the choices you make after that and really wanting to make sure you can pursue it, because I feel like a lot of times the same thing where you say with imposter syndrome, a lot of times it's what other people see in you before you see it.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if they're coming back, if they're telling other people to come back, all this other stuff, they're telling people who they haven't worked with me yet, oh, go use her service because I am going to. It's like you don't see it, but other people see it in you, even when you can't see it. And that it lights everything up and it puts everything into perspective. It only pushes you to want to do more because you're making a difference in their business and their lives and making their life easier at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's what was like really validating to me was like, oh, other people are really liking what I'm doing. Other people are singing my praises and giving me all that validation. And so eventually it kind of started to rub off back on me of like, oh, I must be doing okay. I must be all right.
And also just the fact that like there have been like so many people who were able to like also affirm everything that you're doing and being able to, of course, as you were saying that like initially you didn't have like the community specifically in this specific space, but you were able to build it out to now a lot of them are your clients basically
Mhm.
speaking for you and also just growing out your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
And
cool.
the other thing I wanted to say too is obviously, support is also is always, it goes a long way, but even when your husband had the belief for you to
Yeah.
keep it going, all of that, it speaks volumes, but also throughout everything that you had to endure at the same time. So that's why it's one of those things. And it comes down to a lot of it too, where it's like you knew what you wanted to do. You knew even after you had your second child and you had to go through all that, you understood that you want it to succeed. You want it to be able to. And I feel like too, especially when it comes to even design, coding, tech stuff, things of that manner, a lot of people assume people know what's happening. They assume because to them, just like you, it's natural. Like you're like, oh, do 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 do. But for people who don't really know, they're like, okay, well, I know I'm paying you. I know you're doing something, but also
Mhm.
I have no communication. I have no idea what exactly you're doing. And then it also gets to people where people are like, okay, I'm spending this money. This is supposed to be making my life easier, but really my life is more stressful. Your transparency and communication to your clients, honestly, is probably what builds your brand by itself because that speaks volumes.
Yeah, and if I can take like an extra couple of minutes to like make somebody a Loom video of like going over how to log in or how to access something or how to see something, it's a lot of like the mystery and like the unsure feeling about anything can be solved like really fast. Like, here's a
Mhm.
5-minute Loom video showing you the directions, and they all just that little step, that little extra bit I can give them makes them have the confidence and feel empowered to make better decisions. So yeah, I really try to hold that as like a pillar of my business of like I'm here to support people. I'm not just here to stick some stickers and make something look fancy and collect my check.
Right. Take away the transaction part of it, like
Yes.
where it's like,
Hmm.
no, this is the human part of it. But yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So it actually leads into like my first question in terms of, I know you kind of mentioned where like the process, transparency, also being able to deeply support your clients in what way that works for them, which is amazing. And honestly, we love that beyond it. What can clients expect when they work with you? Like how does that process look like from like if they reach out to you, the consultation, like how does that process look for them when they first reach out to you?
Yeah, I try to make it, yeah, just as easy and natural feeling and conversational as possible. So I love to meet people with where they're at. So I'm not
Mhm.
here with like a huge $10,000 package and this is what we do and this is the platforms that we work on and you have to cater to us. It's our job to cater to the client, right? So a lot of times when people give me a call and they say, "Hey, I need a website." My first job is to just ask a ton of questions. So I'm asking you, like, all right, what are your goals? Where's your business at right now? What are you hoping to accomplish in 6 months? Like, what do you know about your website already? Have you looked at your analytics? What could it be better? Where are you hoping to go? So I'm just asking a ton of questions because I want to make sure that whatever I'm providing for them is suiting their specific needs, right? So if they tell me, hey, I really want to start a course or like a digital product or something, I'm already thinking of like what platforms would be best? How are we going to launch it? What other like marketing tools or strategies do we need to pull in for it? So I'm trying to use their goal or their need and then find as many ways to meet that need as possible. Because yeah, I want them to walk away feeling like super good about it, that they got the type of service that they were hoping for. So yeah, after our initial consultation, I send like a detailed proposal of like, all right, here's how I would tackle it. Here's what it would cost. Here's the timeline. This is what I propose. And most of the times they say, yeah, let's do it. I get them on the schedule and we start tackling the project. And there's always great communication along the way. So I'm a big believer just in building in checkpoints. And so like if we're building a full website, maybe, I build out just the homepage and then I send that to the client for their review and their notes. Then I'll build out the other pages and I send it to the client for review and for notes. So there's no mystery. It's like we know exactly where in the project we are. We know what's coming next. We know what to expect. So when we reach that finish line, it feels really good. It feels like, all right, we're good, and the book is shut and we move on.
Yeah. And also, like, honestly, I feel like there are so many like different places that I can go with as far as like questions for you. But one of the things too that you were talking about is just being an introvert inside of like such a social space. So for a lot of the introverts and ambiverts, like what would you say is your go-to strategy for showing up confidently like at events without feeling drained?
Yeah, I mean, I do get drained really, really easily. I
I
have
feel
to
like
be very intentional with like the events that I go to. So sometimes, like, if I'm already stressing out about other things going on, maybe I've got a lot on my plate that week and there's an event to go to, but maybe it's not my audience. Maybe it's not the best format or something. Sometimes I will skip it because the trade-off of like giving the whole day to the event and being drained at the end and then having kind of a rough start to the next day might not be worth it. But if there is an event that I'm like, yes, this is my audience, these are the people I want to build connections with, I do kind of put on a little bit of a persona. And this is kind of what I tell people. It is a little bit like fake it till you make it to an
yeah.
extent of like you're not being inauthentic, you're still being you, but sometimes you do have to put on a little bit of like business owner persona out there to people. And it kind of helps you just have that confidence of like, all right, this is my role, this is my duty. I'm going to this event to meet people and to build connections. And you just kind of put on that little more of an extroverted personality forward, even though, you're going to go home and go take a nap. And that's okay too.
Right. And I will say, I just wanted to add in there that what like our first conversation with you, you were in the middle of like
Going
going
to a
to an
networking.
Oh,
event.
yeah. I go to a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah. And I thought that that was like really like both funny, like funny in terms of like, just like clocking in at that moment, but like also just like very inspiring because of the fact that it is like, no, I'm here to also like get the word out about my business in whichever way. So like not only was it when you're like speaking to us, but it's also, hey, now I'm going to go inside of the event, go, like right after
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I think that's been like such the game changer for my business
Yeah.
is to build up that community and to build up the network of people. And when people know you and they see that you're a real human, like they're
Yeah.
more likely to hire you. I
Yeah.
think a lot of businesses, I think especially like service-based businesses, online businesses, they kind of fall a little bit into this. They kind of go behind the wall of social media where they're like, well, I'm really visible online, or, I've got a lot of followers online or something. But I think there's a very big difference of being visible online and then being visible as an actual person in your community, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. And it makes a difference too because it adds that personal touch on it. And
Hmm.
it also builds rapport too
Yeah.
because even when you're in business, because obviously no matter how you look at it, when you're in a business setting versus if you're like out having dinner and drinks are two different types of, one's you're relaxing and one's you're trying to like build the rapport. You're not changing necessarily who you are as a person. And
Mhm.
that's what is seen because you can be there, you can be professional, but you're also still coming as you. So by you coming as you, people can see that, they can talk to you, and that's what's like, oh, well, I actually can kind of trust her a little bit because I see her, she talking, she knows what she knows more than I do. So,
Mhm.
so it's one of those things that you're building the rapport that can lead into not only their business, but them being like, oh, I know someone who I met and I've
Yeah.
seen, and you can definitely benefit from using her.
And
Yeah,
again,
definitely.
like for us, it was like the shoe in where we were like, oh, okay, yes, we definitely need to like converse with you because it was
Like,
like you know what you're doing, and also just the fact that like you were able to figure out and make time for everything that like mattered to you. So yeah, props and hands off for
Yeah,
exactly.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, you got to take it seriously, right? Like you
Yeah,
got to show up for your business. Like
yeah,
if you want it to grow and thrive, like you have to put the energy in and you just got to show up and do your best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And honestly, that speaks to you and also as like a business owner too, because you want not only your business to succeed, but you want it to grow so that you
Mhm.
can truly have people benefit from your services. And you pushing yourself outside of even your regular comfort zone shows that. And that right there speaking, because honestly, if you don't got the little butterflies in your stomach, if you don't feel like, oh my goodness, not sure if I can do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I know
Mhm.
this is beneficial to what where I need to grow. That's where you know you're like you are being a business owner that you're proud of, creating a business you're proud of, and all of the in betweens.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
And that actually leads to my next question. So, based off of, because honestly, with your story, you've been through a lot from the beginning to the middle to somewhere in the middle, kind of like shaking a little bit, then trying to be
Mhm.
where you are now. If you could tell yourself one thing now that you have learned from your past self, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I've always realized that like caring is not a weakness. Like putting yourself into something and caring about other people and caring about the impact it makes. I really see that now as I get older as a strength. I've always, have put that same type of energy and mindset into my work, especially as a teacher and stuff, of like, giving so much to these kids and giving so much to other people's families, even though it might be at the sacrifice of my own health sometimes. And, you have to watch that. But I realized that like it's not a weakness, it's a strength. And I think with business too, I don't know, there's a lot of messaging of like you just need to grind and hustle and,
Mhm.
make profit and make money and make as much money as possible. And I don't know, having this like money first, profit first mentality with a business, I don't think is appropriate or the best decision in a lot of cases. So I've tried to hold through of that mindset of like, you know what, I might not have the highest rates in the industry, but because I have rates that are more accessible for small businesses, they're coming to me and I'm able to build a better business. So it's like because I care about my clients and I take that extra minute to like show them something or teach them something, it's making my business stronger and they're going to come back to me and they're going to refer all their friends. So I think it's okay to run your business with compassion and kindness and care. And I know since I was young, I've always kind of held that as a priority, but I've now, as I'm getting older and running this business, I'm like, no, I still want to maintain that and I don't see that as a weakness even in a business field.
And honestly, that speaks volumes because people can see and they sense when you care about something,
Mhm.
so they can trust you better, and they know that if they're saying you're going to be in charge of doing something, they know it's going to be done right. They don't have to worry about, okay, am I doing this and I'm on a deadline? Is it going to come back? Am I not going to be happy with it? They know you care about it, and that's
Mhm.
so important, especially with this customer service and making sure that the clients and the quality behind it, because especially as businesses owners, founders, life's busy by itself, and then you got family, and then you got house stuff, you got a whole bunch of things, so life is busy. So when you're trying to entrust like something that you have to get done to someone, you want to make sure not only is going to get done right, but they care about the product that they're actually going to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, and these, especially like small business owners, their businesses are their babies, right? And it's really hard to trust somebody to, help and support their business and, trust them to not mess things up. And so, yeah, they're putting a lot of trust into me, and I recognize that for sure.
Yeah. And especially in the days of, I feel like with like so much AI where a lot of things can feel so impersonable, like that is extremely important to just be like, no, I'm here. Like, and
Hmm.
I'm actually like real and I will guide you and navigate you because yes, I do agree that the tech industry is one where everyone is like developer and they can charge like so many high costs, but like you said before, you don't even know like where it's all going. Or what is the work, what is the output, like how much does it take for you to like run this? So that's something. And my question for you though is how do you balance a business with raising a family, especially in a creative like work environment that doesn't always have always have off hours?
I know, it's really hard. Yeah, and I've got two little, so my kids are 5 and 2, and so neither of them are in school yet. I do have to really divide my time from being in work mode and being in mom mode. And I try not to let those two overlap too dramatically. I am lucky enough that I can support my husband as a stay-at-home dad. And so my husband Will stays home with the kids, and that gives me complete separation to be able to focus on the business and grow the business and get my work done. I know a lot of moms out there, due to just circumstances and how hard things are right now, they try to juggle both where they've got, they're trying to give the baby a snack and answer an email and, take the baby to the park and answer a call and it's really hard to maintain and sustain like adequate growth when you're being pulled so many different directions. And so I've talked with a few other like small business friends, and that's kind of the advice I give is like try to build your schedule the best way you can, that you have some sort of separation where even if it's 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day where you can actually like go into a separate office or room or go to Starbucks with your headphones on and actually like sit and get work done, because when you are in mom mode it's really hard to be in work mode. Vice versa, you feel like you're just kind of failing at both. So at least when I am able to kind of separate the two, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm successful at both instead of feel like I'm failing at both. But it's brutal, it's really hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine, especially with you have kids, they're young too. So, and then, they have things that's happening, you have things. So to get to that point where
No,
you can
but
feel
also
like
shout out to husband.
that part literally coming through, really.
Being a
Yes.
rock star, yeah.
Yes. And also to be able to support in that way so you can grow it so that you have, because when you're growing, especially when you have a business and you're growing it, you can almost kind of make it a little bit where you can try to have that work-life balance when you're stuck. Like if you're in something, you have to be there from this time to
Hmm.
this time, sometimes even later, and you're not able to, you can't prioritize what is because you have to be there when they tell you. It's a difference.
Hmm.
So now to be able to have that and be able to be there for your family moments and that, and then you have your husband that's supporting the whole way, it opens up so you can breathe a little bit more versus trying to feel like you have to try to do it all and then some more.
Yeah, I have been really thankful for like I don't have to miss doctor's appointments. I don't have to miss parent-teacher conferences with my pre-K kid. It's like I don't have to miss out on things because I have a boss and a 9 to 5 and I have to clock in and clock out. So that's such a huge, massive perk to being a business owner is like, okay, I can like kind of work around scheduling things when I'm able to.
Exactly. And then that actually leads to my other question, which is, what would you say to an entrepreneur or someone who it may feel like they aren't ready for branding or investing in a new website? And what could that do for their business?
Yeah, so a lot of times I get clients who are maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years into their business and it's finally picking up speed and they have, the finances to invest in brand design or web design. And I kind of hear the same messages from them a lot of like, I really wish I would have just done this from the start. And the reason that I say that is when you have that foundation built already, your credibility is already through the roof. Your reputation is already building from such a strong foundation. Like when somebody sees like a logo you threw together in Canva or like a website you put together on Wix real quick, it kind of gives the sense that maybe you don't take your business as seriously. So why should they take your business seriously? But when you are entering, the door of starting a business and you have a strong brand identity and a strong website with SEO built in and a marketing plan in place, you're already leaps and bounds ahead. And so, it is an investment. I totally understand that when you have $0 coming in, it's really hard to have dollars go out, especially for something that may not seem like a priority or an immediate need. But it's really impactful to start with that strong reputation right off the bat rather than 4 or 5 years later turning around and being like, we have a new logo and a new
Right.
brand name and a new website, and I know you've never seen it before, but here it is. It is a very different vibe and energy for your business than really taking it professionally and serious right away. But if you are a few years into your business and that's the point that you're at, I still would love to help you. But that's just the power and the impact of having really strong brand and web design.
Yeah, and I do agree with you with that because I feel like for me and this has been forever, but when I first find a business or I find a thing, my first thing is to look at their website. That I don't know why, I don't know how it is, but that's like my first thing. It's almost like I want to see if they have anything on there. I want to see if they have any reviews, if they want to see, I want
Mhm.
to just see some additional thing. And I have worked with business. I have worked with things that have not, but that's just my first go-to. So like if I had to pick and I had three options and two of them have websites and one of them don't,
Mhm.
I'm more geared to look at the other two options just because it almost kind of gives me extra value, I should say, gives me extra confidence into
Yeah.
them, despite whether they just started a month ago or they've been in business for a few years. It's just that extra level of like, okay, this is it. And okay, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a one pager sometimes, but
Mhm.
it's just information that I have on a website that has it. I'm like, okay, it just makes it me. I'm like, oh, okay, they have like a business and not like,
Yeah.
oh, I find it on like social media. Now I got to do research to see, okay, is this real? Is it not? X, Y, and Z, especially in a world where there's so many different options and things. Just want that extra peace of mind to be when it comes down to it.
Yeah, what I tell people a lot is you can see who's coming to your website, but you can't see how many people left
Yeah.
because they couldn't find what they needed. They
Mhm.
didn't know how to reach you. They didn't know what your services were. It wasn't clear. Or yeah, it doesn't function well or it doesn't look great. You have no idea how many people left and went somewhere else to one of your competitors. So the best thing that we can do is to have such a strong online presence and website that you know if somebody doesn't hire you or book you, it's not because of XYZ.
Yeah.
And before we do segue into the next portion, my question for you actually taps into what the two of you were just discussing right now, which is what is the first thing that you notice when evaluating a brand that reaches out to you? Like,
That's a really good question. Yeah, I always take a look, yeah, at their socials, their website, and I'm just asking the questions of like, if I was a visitor, can I find you? Can I find what I need? Do I know what you offer? How do I know if I am a good fit for you or you're a good fit for me? Is that information clear? And I'm finding those ways to make it more clear, right? To so I can recommend that to the client. So sometimes that is through design stuff. Sometimes that's just function stuff. Like, hey, you have this pop up and it's super spammy and it pops up every 5 seconds and I can't click out of it. Finding those opportunities to make either small improvements or big improvements. And then what are some things on a grander like marketing scale? Can I help? Like, do you have, SEO built in? Is your site optimized for search engines so people can find you in searches? Or do you like not exist, on the internet? So I'm always looking through the lens of like, what's the current state of things? What can I work on? What can I recommend? Because we're all coming at different points.
yeah. Which
No,
is why you said before you
yes.
meet the clients where they are. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and,
Hmm.
and I and I like that too because the key is sometimes even as a business you see it one way, but having someone who's in the industry who knows how to look for something and what people outside of just you looking at it how it sees it makes a difference because they can look at it like, oh, I like it, and you look at it like, okay, well, honestly I have no idea what you do, how you do it, or how I can reach you. And then you're like, okay, it may be pretty but it doesn't really the people get there and then they're like, well, if I'm spending more time trying to figure out how I can connect, I'm going somewhere else that makes it a little bit easier.
And sometimes, like, I don't like to scare people, but sometimes they have like big issues that I'm like, oh no, you need to fix. Like, a big one is like accessibility. So, people with vision impairments
Yes.
and using screen readers on technology and on websites, like, you may love orange. Like, orange could be your brand color, but you put white text on top, and now you're not accessibility compliant and you're breaking the law and you could get sued. So, sometimes just having, even if you're maybe not in a position to invest a whole lot into your brand or web right now, it might be worth doing like initial audit or just, a quick, like, hey, maybe I have $400 and I can put this 400 towards making a few improvements so I'm accessibility compliant and my website functions at least. And then, maybe I can save up to in a year, I can spend more money on this. But sometimes there's some specific things that you need to stay on top of and you need to fix just, yeah, for legal reasons.
Oh, no, now you really tapped into like something where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. This
hold
is
Mhm.
on.
kind of important.
Especially once you start hitting the L word. Like once you
Yeah.
go legal, it's
Mhm.
like, wait a second.
Exactly. And on top of that too is also like if they have to change something, then it's better to change it now versus
Yeah,
having
because
it in place and then either finding out the wrong way or changing it years down and people are like, wait, this don't even look like the same colors, don't look like the same business. I may be at the wrong page. So
Yeah.
it's because people are like, wait, if it's changing, okay, I don't know if I should let's go somewhere else. So
Well, and they say, there's that statistic that people need like 7 to 8 touch points
yeah.
before they reach out to you, right? So
Mhm.
those 7 to 8 touch points could be over time, and if you are changing your whole logo, your brand identity, your website, your name, your services all the time, you're creating a very inconsistent brand, and
Mhm.
people don't like that.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we've clearly seen a lot of your brilliance in business and also just like how you factor adding that into real life. But now I just have a little quick question for you. So, what's one fun or unexpected things that people may not know about you? A little fun fact segment.
Okay, let's see. I don't know. It's not too interesting, but I am a really big reader. So I read kind of an excessive amount. Before kids, I would reach 100 books a year. After kids, I reached 50 books last year. So that was really fun that I was able to reach 50. But yeah, I read a lot. I'm a big like fantasy sci-fi girly. It's always been a great escape for me to get kind of my mind out of where my mind wants to be and into a book?
And
No, I
that's
love
still a
that.
lot even for 50 books with two
Yeah.
kids, a business, a house. Like that's still a lot.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like that 100 book was already a lot. I was like, oh wait, 50. I was like,
I
and
know.
everything else. I was like, impressive.
What
Yeah,
would you
it's
say
it's
is your
fun.
favorite book if you have one? Or top
Oh, I don't know if I have a single favorite book, but I do have like some favorite authors I always like to
Okay,
share.
yeah.
So, like Brandon Sanderson is a big author of mine. He does the big intense fantasy books that are a little scary sometimes, but I named my son Kaladin after one of the characters.
I love
So,
that name, by the way. Yeah.
I'm in it deep. I'm in it real deep, and I love my like women authors too. So I love like Alona Andrews. There's a few other, of course I'm blanking, but there's a few other like really strong female like fantasy authors that I'm always like they come out with a new book and I'm gonna grab it up. So
That's really dope. That's
Yeah,
really
it
cool.
definitely is. But it's I guess it's definitely your escape outside of
Mhm.
and that's always important, especially when you have a business to have that where you can like I can my mind can go somewhere else and I don't have to worry about I can literally shut it down for a second, be able to enjoy myself and then get back to it.
yeah, definitely.
Like Ty and I definitely do talk about like often about like taking the pause and like the time in between just to just get your mind out. So yeah, sci-fi, beautiful.
So, on that note, I would love to know your ask of the audience. How can our community support you right now, whether that's following your journey, sharing your work, or referring others to you? Let us know how and what does that look like for you.
Yeah, I have a few kind of entry points in a few ways. I would love to support business owners, as we've just talked about this whole time. So, if you would love to just have me take a look at something, I can audit your site or just ask me questions. My inbox is always available, and I'm sure the ladies will share my email on my website. I also, I'm looking for other like speaking opportunities, like education is so important to my business. So, I get to bring that teacher energy out. I do a lot of like SEO 101 workshops and seminars and things like that based on web design type topics. So if you have a group that you would like me to speak to or to share with, I would love to hop on that opportunity. And then I have a couple of offers for your community as well. I have a free SEO strategy checklist on my website that offers some really great tips and advice to improve your search engine optimization on your site yourself if you're more of a DIYer. And then I also have my SEO 101 workshop in video format, and I am offering 30% off that. It's at like a super reasonable price point because I just want to offer it to people to give them support. So if you're not quite ready to hire, full services from someone like me, but you want to kind of get your foot in the door of improving your website and your SEO, that could be a great option. So I'll have a code for that too that you guys can share.
Oh, well, Oh, that is amazing. And thank you, honestly, because those things, it's like those small things that can really help, especially to kind of like prepare somebody for later on down the line to what they really want to really invest in. And definitely we'll have all of that in the description below. So you definitely can click it, visit the website and all of that. So you can take advantage of it to definitely help with the branding and also help with building it at the moment where you are now before you can invest really to make it as full as you need it.
Yes, yes. And we've explored the strategy, style, and story behind Jaclyn's work. And we hope that it sparks something in your own journey, especially when it comes to branding and getting yourself out there. So, her dedication to helping women show up boldly online is a reminder that design isn't just visual, it's powerful, purposeful, and deeply personal. So, if today's episode resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and drop a comment as we're sharing more conversations with founders who are leading with vision, clarity, and intention. So all the ways to connect with Jaclyn and Jaclyn Hope Design are going to be in the description below, as the ladies have said. So be sure to check it out. And until next time, keep building, keep growing, and stay inspired. Bye.
Bye.